Yuki and John, patriarch. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Yuki, have you ever prayed to God, Yuki?
No, I don't. I'm not totally religion. I mean, is this recording already?
Yeah, we're recording. I just prayed to God that the recording would go well, and it's going well.
Well, I mean, Japan, of course we have a Christian, the Buddhism. But I mean, generally speaking, it's unlike Western world, we're not really raised as, religious. I mean, of course, every family has those small shrine, and every morning we pray, but it's not the belief, it's a custom,
right?
So it's not really different. So people just doing it because it's custom, not because they believe
right.
Buddhism or anything.
Okay.
So same thing, I pray because it's custom, but that doesn't mean I'm religious. So,
but do you think since it's custom and it's sort of baked into your life, even though you don't necessarily believe in a higher power or whatever, do you think that the act of praying has improved your life? Like, because some people say that meditation is just prayer and vice versa, and so you think that the act of praying has kept you sort of your mind a little more sharp and things like that?
Well, I can't speak for those people, but my case, I just do it because it's a custom, and then same thing.
But how do you do it? You get up in the morning and you say...
Some people really do, chanting, but I don't chant.
What do you do?
I just go to the small shrine and, put the incense.
Oh, really? And you bow to the incense?
That's
wow,
it.
so you do that every day?
Well, when I'm in Tokyo, when I'm
when you're in Tokyo, okay.
And then summer or maybe, well, I don't live there anymore, but every time I visit, I try to go family temple and, visit my, stone. And,
sure.
But it's not because I believe it's just a custom, so I just do it. And then
Okay. But you don't feel any benefits of doing that?
I mean, realistically, it doesn't do any. If I visit them, and that doesn't mean I win the lottery. So,
is that what you're praying for?
Sometimes can I win? But it's not. Yeah, but only I can think of is like maybe the reason I'm being healthy, not really, that may be a part is like, okay, maybe I just following this good custom, visit family regularly, that's why I'm healthy.
Sure.
I could think that way, but it's not really, I'm healthy because I pray. No.
Well, and not just healthy, but like mentally, it's a process that you do for your mental health.
Right.
That clearing your mind sometimes is just a good thing to do because you got to get rid of the extra.
Right.
thoughts.
Maybe that's a good way. Just a good things to do.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Like it's the same as meditation. Some people would say that meditation is like the right thing to do because you start to really live in the moment and you erase all the negative thoughts and things like that, and you can get to like the center of whatever is happening here. And so this episode is supposed to be about religion,
right?
But I'd like to touch upon other things like spiritual ideas and meditation and sort of stuff like that, because I saw the center of the universe when I meditated, and then I never meditated again.
Well, because I don't meditate, and then again, let's say I do as a custom. But like yesterday, I was standing in subway station. This 3 girls came to me like, "Do you go to church?" I said, "No, I don't visit the church because I don't believe God." And then she goes, "You don't believe God? Well, why don't you come to church so we can teach you how to?" Then I'm like, that's exactly, I don't go to church because you're forcing me, like a belief is coming from inside.
Yes, from within.
Yeah, and then why you took that way? Like, I don't believe that's just the opposite. That's exactly opposite. You believe that's the way I believe.
Yeah.
Not believing God is my belief.
Yeah.
So why don't you leave me alone? Why try to force me?
Because it's a recruitment center for something. You know, I don't believe it. So, you know, like, actually around here, I had a similar thing happen to me, and I got a little frightened because I was going to my supermarket, and there were these two younger kids, maybe 18, 19, 17, around there, young.
Girl?
No, boys, two boys, and they were dressed in white shirts, ties, and black pants. Now, I don't know if they were Mormon or what. I don't know what they were. And the one kid, like, crossed the street and came up to me. He's like, would you like to go to church with us this weekend? And I said, no, thank you. I just want to go get my milk for the weekend at the store. But thank you for asking.
Okay.
Then
You're nicer than me.
Well, yeah, I was very nice. It was like, no, thank you. I'm good. I didn't say I don't believe in God. I don't say get out of my face. I just said, no, I've got to go shopping. I'm busy. This weekend's no good. So then they fucking waited for me at the after I went into the store. I came out. I had my bags. And the other one came up to me and said, would you like to go to church with us this weekend? And I was like, I just told your friend I see him across the street. I'm not interested, but thank you so much for your time. I started walking, and they went across the other side of the street and then started following me down the block. Now, this is where I started to go, all right, maybe this is some Columbine shit. They're going to fucking open fire at some point, because it really did get creepy. I politely declined twice to both of these people, and then they started walking with me.
Oh my God, that's creepy, scary.
It was weird, so I started really walking fast, and I went around the wrong block so that they didn't see where I lived, and then I jumped into my apartment, and I haven't seen them since. But I'm not saying that they were bad, right? They probably were just out recruiting for or whatever. It's not the word. The recruiting's not the right word when you're doing it for church. It's like it's spreading the good word, whatever the fuck. Maybe they were doing that, but they did it in an odd way to the point where I didn't want to be around these motherfuckers.
But, right? I mean, that's the way, the reason you don't want to deal with them, because instead of, okay, something wrong here, right? Instead of, if you ask me to go church, has to be right way, not instead of you should go to church because you don't believe God, or you said no already, and then chasing you.
And I don't know if they were chasing me, but they were going the same way as me, and like kind of making like I could tell. When you're a kid and you like like making stupid jokes. That I felt like they were doing that, and maybe they were doing it about something else.
But then at least they made you feel weird.
Well, yeah, because both of them came up to me, and they fucking were. Maybe they were asking other people, but it was just odd that they both asked me, and then fucking as I'm walking, they're following me back the way I came.
That's kind of like even before I go to church, I deal with God. Before they act like a weird, that's nothing to do with.
Yeah,
religious.
It has nothing to do with God. It has to do with interacting with people.
You act so strange, and then you're talking about religion or God or no, it's something wrong. Their mind. So that's kind of exactly the reason I don't want to deal with them. Like, leave us alone. Like, if I believe God, you don't need to tell me.
Yeah.
I should go to church or I should believe God.
We could be worshiping God right now.
Right.
Like, you and I could seriously just be sitting here and contemplate God and talk about how to be good and ethical and moral and how to treat people right. And that's a celebration of God. That's like actually a celebration.
And it's not really, we don't have to go to church to be a good person.
No.
We can be good person, kind person.
Yes, we can.
Without going to church.
Yeah, look, I'll be quite honest with you. So I'll tell you a little bit about how I grew up with religion and then why I sort of stepped away. When I was younger, I was baptized into the Catholic Church, and then I was confirmed into the Catholic Church. I had to go to all sorts of Sunday school. When it came time to go to high school, I decided to go to an all-boys Catholic school because I wanted to get out of my public school just because I didn't like it. It was like... It wasn't doing it for me. And when I applied to go to all boys Catholic school, I didn't know it was all boys. I just picked 3 names because they give you like a list of names, and I didn't do any research. I just took the test, like the app, the test to get into the thing, and I passed. And then the 3 schools that I chose, 2 of them were all boys, and I was disappointed. I was like, what the fuck? And then one of them was boys and girls. And I went to visit them all, but the one that I went to, it's called Chaminade, blew me away. It was like a college campus. And my parents at the time weren't necessarily like really doing well. Like they were doing fine. They weren't poor or anything, but it was like an extra expense for them to send me to this school. And they said, are you really committed to this? Do you really want to do this? And I said, yes. And they said, okay, we'll work it out and we'll send you to this school if that's really what you want to do. And I did, and I loved it. I loved going to that school. What I didn't love was the constant prayer. Like every single class that you took, you had to pray before it. Then they had to take you to fucking church constantly. And what happened when I left the place? It found out one of the goddamn cocksucking brothers actually was fucking molesting kids.
Wow.
Can you believe that shit? So, similarly, in my home parish, there was a father named Father Gene who turns out was molesting children as well. So, to me, it wasn't about, like, I think that some of the tenets of religion are beautiful, and the Catholic, some of the ideals in there and all that stuff, the way that Jesus taught. But when the people that are related to it, who are supposed to be serving his message, are raping kids, I'm not a fucking part of it anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be a part of that. And the fact that people can't even, like, you know, say that that's the reason. Like, people are still afraid to say, oh, that's the reason I want to be in a Catholic church is because they fucking rape kids. That's why. So I could still sit here with you and read my books and learn about because what I like to do with my religious practice or spiritual practice is cherry pick from all the religions in the world and all the spiritual ideas in the world, the things that work for me. I don't care if they work for you. I mean, I hope that they work for you. But if they don't work for you, you're on your path choosing your way, right? You choose your philosophies. You choose your religious ideas. You choose your spiritual ideas. And I'm not going to force mine upon you. I might talk to ones that work for me, but that's it. I'm not going to force you to do it. So I've had a very weird interaction with religion and spirituality in my life because I love it. I practice it. I read about it. I think about it. But I'm not going to be part of an organization that finger blasts children. That's fucking insane. That's insane. So that's sort of my background in religion.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. How did you come up? Like, because I think, isn't it Buddhism is like the major thing in Japan?
In Japan, yeah. I mean, there's of course Catholic or Christian, but the major, it's Buddhism came from China, Korea. I mean, so then again, it's always custom, not the belief. So, I just pray every morning when I'm home because it's good things to nothing more, nothing less.
Yes.
So, and then, then just I feel like leave me alone, and you don't have to go to church, you don't have to believe the God to be a kind, nice person.
Yeah.
And then without being religious, this is a good to say. I think we talked about once. I met the Pope, John Paul II.
Yes.
That's why I don't know the Francis, a new one. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then again, many friends says, "Well, Yuki, that's because you were stoned." But the reason I think, again here, me being without religious, I think the reason John Paul II is real thing. I'm not religious. I don't believe him or anything. But I thought he was real because I saw his aura.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And it's like unbelievable. I'm not spiritual. I'm not religious, but I saw his aura, and then that's something weird experience. But that's why I don't believe God. I'm not religious, but there is something there. Having said that, just leave me alone. Don't tell me to believe because I don't believe. But I know something there. But since I don't know what it is,
You can't explain
I
it all
can't
the time.
explain
So
it.
somebody recently told me something which is interesting, is that they worked on a production with both where they had to do something where they interviewed. They were on the crew that interviewed Oprah, and then they interviewed Tom Cruise. Now,
Okay.
this person has worked with a lot of people in the industry who, and they said that they barely ever get starstruck or whatever. But they said when Oprah was on the way, and when she entered the building, he got like a weird feeling, and it was like almost like the presence of Oprah was there, even more so than anything. And then when they were in the presence of Oprah, she was sort of exuding this like energy. This energy.
I believe that
Right,
some
I
kind
believe
of
it too.
energy. Yeah.
So that's maybe it's more than just religion when somebody has that sort of an aura or
Right,
power or
yeah.
something. Is it something that's within human beings that they can sort of tap into and put forth it to either make themselves successful, comfortable, whatever it might be.
Right.
Same thing he said with Tom Cruise. That it was like an energy thing in the room, like the
Right.
whole. It was more than just celebrity. It was an energy field. So I do think that a lot of the problems in the world, and this is just my opinion, a lot of the problems in the world are because we as human beings are all about, or mostly about, the exterior world. And we don't take enough time to work on ourselves in our interior world, which is our mind,
Right.
our thoughts, our goals, our energy, all that stuff, and centering ourselves. Like, I believe in all that stuff when your energy or whatever it might be, and all these words could be wrong, or your aura is off or
Right.
disconnected with your body, that causes a lot of problems. And I think if a lot of people align themselves with their inner
Right.
life, that our external life will improve. You know?
Yeah, man. I think here's the thing. Again, I don't believe those things, but those aura or some kind of positive energy or negative energy.
Yes. Oh, negative energy too. Trust
Right,
me.
the both
that
way.
I've felt.
Right. I think it exists. I really don't believe, you get us them, breaking the spoon without touching it. I don't believe that. But there is positive energy and negative energy.
And people give that off.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's been there's been people that you meet and they just suck the energy right out of the room,
Right.
and it's all like all they do is suck off of your good energy. There's that concept. So I read back in the day when I was really getting into spirituality and religions and stuff, just to know what it was all about. I read part of the Satanic Bible, the first half, before they get into all the rituals, which I'm not into. But the first half introduced some amazing concepts that I kind of got, like that I never heard come out of, say,
Right.
the Catholic or Buddhist or anything. And one of those things was the idea of a psychic vampire. The idea of a person who can suck your good energy out and take it to themselves, and all they do, and the only reason they want to know you and be around you, is because they want to suck
you, yeah.
off of you and take your happiness and stuff and bring it into them. And even if they don't know they're doing it. So now it's been popularized with like What We Do in the Shadows, that show.
Yeah.
There's a character who can suck people's good energy, and that instead of blood, they feed off of good vibes and shit. I've met numerous people who are like that. Numerous, right? I mean, even sometimes just standing next to somebody, you're like, this
Yeah.
person is just, no.
Yeah.
I can't do it. With meditation, I want to tell you a little bit about my meditation. So I tried it really hardcore about 10, 12 years ago. And I was doing this thing called Kundalini, which now that I've read even more about it, you're not supposed to jump right into Kundalini meditation.
Really?
It's kind of dangerous. You can fuck yourself up. Some people say. So I was doing this Kundalini meditation. You know what Kundalini is?
No.
Okay, it's there's these different chakras in your body that start from the bottom, from the root chakra, and go up your body until it reaches the third eye, which is not even the third eye. It's like the after the third eye. It's like the anti-consciousness. So you start at the root, then you go to like the navel, and I might be getting some of this wrong because I haven't read about it in a
Right.
while, but you go to the navel, then you go to the heart chakra, you go to the throat chakra, you go to the third eye, the voice, the whole thing. You go through, and for a few minutes at a time as you're breathing, you concentrate on each chakra in order to open it up. And once you get to the top, that's when you're supposed to touch another realm or whatever it might be. So I was doing this, and I swear to you, one day I got so deep in meditation that I saw the center of the universe. And what I saw, this is not a lie. I wasn't sleeping.
Well, I'm not saying that.
Maybe it was a hallucination, maybe whatever it might.
Yeah.
But this is what I saw. I was in the center of all things. I just knew it. And there was this humongous ball of light, bigger than any star ever. Like, it was just this big, pulsating ball of white light going wow, wow, just back and forth.
What kind of room is that?
I wasn't even in a room. I was in a void. I was in a void in my mind, right?
Oh,
this is
but
what I was...
Are you floating or?
And then I started to look around after I saw this ball of light that was pulsating to my breathing. I looked around and I saw billions upon trillions of other smaller pieces of light that were also pulsating with the giant mass of light.
Do you see yourself? You see
I
hand?
looked down then and I saw that I was also one of those smaller pieces of light pulsating with the center of all things. And I was like, holy shit. And I said, I even mentioned to myself in this, I go, I know that I'm meditating, but don't wake up now. You're at the center of all things. You're actually seeing it. And then when I fucking talked to myself, I jumped out of it.
You could be just dreaming, no?
It wasn't a dream because I was awake too. I was in that realm between sleeping and awake. Like, it was another piece of consciousness that
You
I
weren't
had never.
sleeping.
I was not sleeping. I was sitting up, right, and I was breathing, and I was doing it in my basement at the time, and I was just breathing, and it took about 20 minutes to happen. And then when I woke up, since the time that I had started meditating to the end was about 25 minutes.
Oh, okay, what's exactly the difference between meditating and sleeping? You just said woke up.
Well, okay. Thanks for using my words against me, you son of a bitch. Well, without a really perfect way to describe it, I guess it's maybe snapped out of it. Because, okay, it's an altered state of consciousness that's not sleeping. Because when you're sleeping, you're dead to the world. But I knew that I was there and I was meditating and I knew that all these things were happening. And I knew that I had gone to this other state of consciousness.
Oh, are you sitting?
I was sitting. Cross-legged, sitting with my hands kind of like...
So your body is up, not the...
No, I wasn't laying down. I was up. I was sitting upright. That's part of the thing is you're supposed to sit upright so your spine is straight. And I was sitting upright and I was doing that. And look, hey, maybe it was a dream, but I was still in control of my body. I didn't fall over. When you fall asleep, you kind of like go limp. I was still very much.
No, but I mean, you can sleep like this.
No, but I wasn't like.
Right?
I know you can sleep anywhere, Yuki. But I'm usually when I fall asleep, I need to be like curled up and laid down or whatever. But it was so real and it was happening, and I actually meditated to get to that point. So I feel like I was still awake and in the middle. I was in the middle. I was in that perfect middle spot between dreaming and awake, where it's a whole other universe. And so, I mean, look, I know what I saw, I know what I felt, and I know what I was thinking. But yeah, maybe it was just me playing tricks on my own mind.
Can you do it again?
Let's do it right now. No, I mean, so since then I have tried to meditate again, and I've gotten to other alternate states of, understanding. And I really like meditating because it gives me ideas. But I don't necessarily think it means that you're going to another place. What I think it means is that your mind sort of opens up other avenues where you could think of these other things and sort of get information from the subconscious, the unconscious, all that sort of stuff.
That's something I don't understand. Like, what's the difference trying to sleep and meditating? Like, you meditate, like you just close your eyes.
Well, the difference is, in my opinion, is that when you're going to sleep to lose yourself into the unconscious.
Right.
When you're meditating, you're actively understanding and monitoring your breath. That's the whole sort of point with a lot of meditation, is to be aware of your breath and how you're breathing, and to concentrate on either the moment between the breath or the breath itself going in and out, and really regulate yourself to the breath. That's what a lot of the basic ideas of meditation is all about. I didn't do a mantra. I didn't do any of that. I just concentrated on my breath.
I'm sorry, I don't have that. I don't get it.
No, it's fine. I mean, the same way that you saw the aura of the Pope. I never saw nobody's aura.
Okay.
But I felt auras before. I felt energies, but I've never seen an actual aura glowing off of a person.
But again, I could be. My case could be because I was stoned too.
Sure, yeah.
Because I can't really tell the difference.
I mean, I wasn't stoned for this. This was just something. So let's go back a little bit. So religion, of all the religions that you sort of know about, which one do you think has like the most interesting ideas that you've used in your life? Is it Buddhism? Is it? And I don't mean like you have to go to church, you have to do this. What are some of the moral ideas that you use in your life from religion?
Well, I don't know, like, let's say, Muslim.
Yeah.
Terrorist, right?
Not all of them, Jesus Christ.
Okay, here's the thing. all terrorists are Muslim, but not all Muslims are not terrorists, right?
Well, no, that's not true. There's some terrorists out there who are not Muslim.
The Muslim.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what this idea, it's like, kill all the Western so you go to heaven.
That's fucked up. Yeah,
that's right. So.
But that doesn't help you in your real life.
No, but what makes them? They believe that's okay.
It's delusion. I mean, in my opinion, it's complete and utter brainwashing delusion that somebody thinks that they need to wipe out a whole people in order to be the.
So
the
if
best
you
religion.
look at that way, then what's the difference? Kill all the Western or regular belief, like this girl told me, if you don't believe God, why don't you come to church and believe God? What's the difference then? The one is
the difference
Western.
is there's a big difference. One is like just trying to get you to go to church, and maybe they're trying to do a good thing for you because they think that that's the way that you can go to salvation or something. Because a lot of these things are all about the afterlife; they're not about this life. What I was asking is, are there any things in religion or spirituality that you use for everyday life that sort of guides your moral code? Is it, don't covet thy neighbor's wife, like, the 10 Commandments, things like that? Are there things that you use from religion that are practical in your everyday life?
No, really.
No?
No, because, I have read the Bible. I've been to church. But I read the church, good things like eye for eye.
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about.
Thing.
So
right?
in real life,
you
believe in an eye for an eye.
Revenge is okay. Right? Or
sure. Look, I actually kind of believe in an eye for an eye in certain circumstances, and then in other circumstances, I don't believe it works. Sometimes, like I don't know where I would draw the line, but I know that it's not always right, in my opinion. An eye for an eye.
But then, it's in the Bible then.
I know it's in the Bible, but that's what I mean is like you can make your own moral code based off of the things that are in these religious texts or that are taught through the religions. That's what I like to do, is cherry pick the best ideas and live by them. But I don't have them as a strict code where in all circumstances it must be an eye for an eye. No, I don't believe that. I believe sometimes an eye for an eye is right. Other times an eye for an eye is wrong. And there's this other thing from another religion that might work, which is compassion or this or that. And you kind of cherry pick it and form your own.
Okay, so still you have to use your own common sense.
Well, that's what I think a lot of people
You don't
miss.
believe everything what the book says or what the Bible says, right?
Exactly. That's what I believe is the problem, is that a lot of people, when they get into, say, a religion or whatever, they take everything completely literally, and they don't use their own common sense or filter to filter out the stuff, that I don't agree with, but that I do agree with. They go in straight and blind and think like garbage.
But see, that sometimes, again, how you were raised or something. Or
Sure.
Because sometimes, let's say you're criminal, you kill somebody. Oh, that's because God told me so. That's totally bullshit, right?
I believe so.
If you have a common sense.
Yeah.
You don't say that. You don't do that.
Right. I totally believe that's my belief. But we can't know each other's minds, right? Like, I can't know your mind fully. You can't know my mind fully. So I think that stuff like religion and spirituality and philosophy is helpful, because then we could take the right pieces and live by those, and then take the wrong pieces and discard them. But I don't think everybody does that. I don't think a lot of people are doing it that way. I think a lot of people need to belong in order to think that they have an individuality or a personality or something. And then later on, they turn around. Like this woman who approached you on the subway. She probably had a hole in her life that she filled with this organization that she's now out there shilling for, whatever you call it, recruiting for.
Right.
But she's going to turn around years later and go, oh, I didn't agree with all the things that I did or said or whatever. You know?
So, okay. You still have to have common sense.
Yeah.
To follow the religion. So it's not about the believing religion. You can believe or you don't believe, but whatever you do, you have to have common sense before religion.
Common sense and a filter and a code. You have to really, really study and understand the things that people are saying to you, because if you just subscribe to an organization and do whatever they say,
so it's like a cult. It's stupid. Because if you have a common sense and the Muslim says, hey, kill Western so you can go to heaven, if we have a common sense, no, that's wrong.
Yes.
Instead of following it.
Right.
So, again, I'm not...
No, I see that part of it I agree with. I think that is somebody... Okay, most of the people who are doing those things... bad things in the name of religion are brainwashed by people who are controlling them for God knows what. They're probably controlling them for some sort of money or power or something that is not related to the thing that is brainwashing their followers. That's why it's hard to say like you should join an organization all the time, a spiritual organization, because most of them teeter on the cult status.
It's cult. Because you have a common sense. You are already a good person or kind person. There you go.
Yeah.
That's before the religion, so it doesn't matter you believe or not. It's really nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Because you already who you are.
Right, like who... Okay, so if somebody tells you you're not going to heaven, say, if you believe in heaven and don't believe in heaven, but if actually somebody says this to you, Yuki Nakamura, you're not going to go to heaven because you didn't go to church.
See, that's already wrong.
Yeah, that's so wrong. What kind of a fucking God?
Yeah.
You know, no offense, God. Don't strike me down.
Right.
I know you're going to give me a heart attack in the next 2 years, but hey, whatever. Don't fucking put that as a rule. Why would that be a rule? If you're a good person and a moral person and do the right thing by treating others well, why would you not be allowed in heaven?
That's why one reason, probably one main reason I don't believe God is that's exactly their approach to me.
Right. See, I think, and to get into a higher idea of what God is, I don't even think God really understands what we are. I think God, if there is a God, whatever it is that made this intelligent design, is so complicated that we, in this third dimension realm of whatever existence that we know, we could never even come close to contemplating or understanding the mind of whatever God invented all of existence. It's so complicated. I mean, think about math, right?
Yeah.
I fucking barely know any math. God knows all the maths. God knows all the theoretical maths. He knows the maths that did it. You know, he knows everything. So you think that he's sitting there going, Yuki didn't go to church. She's not allowed in heaven. No.
He doesn't even know I exist.
He barely knows you. Like, he may know, oh, yeah, I remember making Yuki Nakamura. That's cool. He's a nice guy. Let him up here in the heaven. Right? That's what I feel a God would be.
People made up God, I think.
Yeah, I do think that there is a higher power, and for lack of a better term, a higher power that organized intelligent design for whatever existence we're in currently. Okay, there are rules. You know, we're basically meat machines.
I think it's a conspiracy. It's the people to make money.
Invented themselves? Invented God. Okay.
Yeah, invented the God.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, what if it's by committee? What if there's multiple, like, what if the Mount Olympus is right? What if there's like 50 gods, or more, right? What if they're right? What if that happens?
Yeah.
Zeus is out there with the lightning bolts.
I think it's all a story.
So this is one of the things where I was like really surprised when I learned. I took religion class my first year in Chaminade, and one of the brothers, and this is fucked up, he was the guy who molested people. He ended up molesting people. He became a priest later and molested kids. But he said in religion class that Genesis, right? The thing that everybody was arguing over with Darwin or whatever, Genesis in the Bible, he called it didactic fiction. And he said, you're not supposed to take Adam and Eve literally. You're supposed to take the story of Genesis as like a moral story or an ethical story or a fable to learn things about yourself that you may not have known before. Didactic fiction, right? It's supposed to tell a story and have a moral lesson. But he said he believed in evolution, Darwinism, right?
Yeah.
Because it just seems more practical. And maybe even the parts of Darwinism are wrong. Maybe, we never know as we learn and do science or whatever. But I was so surprised because my whole life growing up, anytime that I had thought about Adam and Eve or something like that, and this isn't because my parents told me, it was just because I thought that it was religious people thought that was the real beginning of time. That people in the Catholic Church thought that Adam and Eve was the real beginning. That God takes 7 days to make the world, he rested on the seventh. I was a kid, I didn't know. But when I got to high school and the fucking actual priest said, no, it's just a story. It's like,
right?
Yeah.
So I was right then.
Yes, in that regard, absolutely. And so that blew my mind that was like, and even though he went on to be a filthy, disgusting molester, that taught me an idea that like, okay, all these things that I hear in philosophy or even what friends tell me aren't always supposed to be literal. Sometimes you're supposed to extract a little piece of information out of that story or something and use it as, I don't know, to learn and to move forward in the world while being nice and fair and good. Right? I mean, that's the way that it happened to me, and that's sort of when I started to say, oh, maybe if I read Nietzsche, I could get a little something out of this. Maybe if I read the Satanic Bible, I could get something out of this. Maybe if I read Joseph Campbell, I could get something out of this. Maybe if I read Robert Anton Wilson, I could get... So I started to try to pick things from all these things.
The only I remember was I like the story of beginning. It says the snake told
oh yeah, that's a great story.
Eat the apple, and then he punished the snake. That's why they don't have leg on the arm.
Is that the reason why?
Yeah, that's the punishment.
Oh, I thought the snake was already
a
snake.
No,
it had arms and legs.
I think at the beginning they had the arm and the legs, but
shit.
Because they lie, that snake lied to Adam and Eve to eat the apple.
Yeah.
So the God said, okay, no more leg and then so that's why snake has no leg, just the body, I think.
Is that good or bad? I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, what else, Yuki? Are there any other religions we didn't touch upon?
Well, my experience is, okay, you said you took religious in the school, right?
Yeah.
I took the same thing, religious at the school. And then I really had a hard time. But I still remember that the professor was smart enough. So I even went to religious and the God exists. And then I said, after, oh shit, I have to take that class because the requirement. So I went to the after the class, I have a problem.
Uh-oh.
He goes, what's the problem, Yuki? I said, I'm not religious. I don't believe God. I don't believe, any religion. I'm not even Buddhist. So I don't know how to study this class. And then he goes, okay, this class is about not really religion. That you are learning how people believe God. Why don't you write about why you don't believe God?
That's nice. That's good.
That's good, right?
It's just the same kind of argument, only opposite. Yeah.
So I thought he was. Oh, then I felt good. So I didn't get the A, but I got the B minus, and then
better than an F.
Right, better than there. Then my paper was why I don't believe God. I went to like 30 pages.
Right.
You know, but that, you know, I don't believe God, then blah, 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 blah. That's why I don't believe God, you know? It's exactly just told him, write the paper about why I don't believe God, then he gave me B+. So he said, that, okay, that's fine, you know, I'm not negative about not believing God. I'm not forcing the student to believe God anything. This is a class about how people believe God. So if you don't believe God,
make that argument.
That's
interesting.
So I appreciate that, you know.
Yeah.
Still, I don't have to go believing God. Pretend. Yeah. So honestly, I just wrote the paper about why I don't believe God, and he gave me B-. So
right.
I passed the class. Yeah.
So I mean, there might be people out there listening to this who think we're complete and utter heathens and disgusting people because we don't necessarily believe what they believe or whatever.
Right.
But what I can say that I feel about you and know about me is that I feel that you're a good moral person who tries to do the right thing in all situations. And sometimes, like any human, you fuck up. But if you do make a mistake, you try to make up for it.
Right. So that's why I don't need the church to be who I am.
Right.
So, you know, if you want to believe God, please do so.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be negative about it, but just don't tell me to go to church and then believe God. Then it's becoming my business, you know, right? Because
church,
I don't need
you know,
church.
look, I spent a lot of time in church when I was a kid, and most of that time I was daydreaming. Just thinking about other things, like, why am I here on a Sunday? Why can't I be having a fun weekend playing Super Mario Brothers 2? And, you know, but then later on, even though I rejected sitting there in reverence of the ritual and all that stuff, later on, when I so happened to want to learn about these things, I picked up books and I did it. So I think that there is something to be said that to learn about these things, because it is helpful. It is helpful. But let's not... You know, I'm not going to disparage anybody who wants to believe in some sort of thing unless it's bad for other people. Right. So you mentioned kill all Westerners. Yeah, that's fucking horrible. That's not a good religion. Fuck that shit. Anybody who wants to use any religion in the name of suppressing somebody else is absolute garbage. But if you want to use your religion to build people up, so maybe that person who approached you just wanted to try to build you up and bring you into a community, and you never know, you could go there and fucking have a great time and... But you don't have to go.
I don't have to. Yeah. I said it earlier, but you know, I have read the Bible. Actually, I have been to church.
You have?
I have. But then again, bad experience, because if they are the way they are, why I was not welcomed? See, that's already wrong. Because I went to church because... girl I was chasing, she was Christian. So, you know, maybe the wrong reason I went to church.
Yuki.
Right, but I went to church anyway, and they don't know why I was there. I was there. Instead of welcoming me, they gave me a dirty look because
you were horny.
I'm not the regular.
You probably had a boner. Yuki, come on. You were sitting there like, come on, you know.
But still, you know, okay, if you are the way you are, why you don't welcome me? Because I'm a stranger?
Right.
See, that's already, again, if you are the way you are, you say, come to church, you know, how come I'm not welcome? At the same time, they gave me dirty look. At the same time, they ask me donation. Then like, oh, fuck you then, right? If you want my donation, how come I'm not welcome? You don't give me a look because I'm a, you know, regular, I'm a stranger. Yeah. Then at the same time, you asking me donation. See, that's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
That's why, you know, I don't want to go to church.
Well, that's our episode on religion. We keep doing these topics that there's so much more information we can do. So let's do a follow-up down the line on religion, because we didn't even touch on Judaism. We didn't touch on Hinduism. We didn't touch on so many, even the ancient religions. I mean, there's fucking religions that were happening before time and space.
The Muslim, then, you know, maybe we can talk about, I was there in Dubai. So
Oh, in Dubai. So you kind of see. So okay, we'll do a whole episode on Dubai.
yeah, I mean, I really, it's not even experience Muslim. I mean, I was living in Muslim world. That was an experience.
We got to be careful, Yuki, because we don't need a fatwa coming on Yuki, and then all of a sudden I'm involved because they want to kill you because you're disparaging the whole Muslim world. So we'll talk about the positives and the negatives of your experience.
No, it's an experience. It's really nothing to do bad or wrong or good or that was just me as a non-religion, especially I don't know anything about the Muslim. But living in Dubai for like a month, that was an experience.
Okay, we'll talk about that. That'll be the next episode. Is Yuki in Dubai?
Yes.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
So this is Yuki and John's podcast buffet.
Yes.
We also have a Patreon, Yuki and John's Patreon buffet, where we have a buffet of shows. We do all sorts of stuff, and we just really want to do a shout out and thank all of our patrons and all of our listeners. I mean, each time that we put up an episode of the podcast buffet, we get more and more people listening and downloading. It's amazing. And it's growing. And same thing with the Patreon. People are subscribing, and they're nice enough to support us. And it's just like, we really can't believe this. And, what do you have to say to these nice people, Yuki?
Yes, they're nice.
They're nice.
Yeah.
well, thank you all so much. And if you love God and religion,
don't get me wrong, please.
Yeah, don't get us wrong. But we love the way that we do it. We love the way that you do it. Just don't hurt animals, children, and people.
Be nice, be kind. Don't be hater.
Don't be hating.
No, I mean, be nice to everybody, right?
Yeah. That's basically the gist. Is be nice to everybody and be helpful. All right, thank you all. See you next time.
See you next time. Okay.
At the buffet.
Yuki and John's Patreon buffet.